Hey folks, Will here again with Happily Ever Outdoors. So in this video, we are out in the woods testing out the Ka-Bar Jarosz Choppa. Now you guys can look up on my channel, I also did a review on the Ka-Bar Jarosz Turok. It's a smaller knife than this, but a really great survival blade in my opinion. So that's what inspired me to take a look at this guy. Definitely the big brother of the Jarosz family. You can also get the Globetrotter, which is their small companion knife that goes right in this 3-knife series. Now the price on this knife is going to vary depending on where you're picking it up and if you can catch a good sale. I was able to get this on Amazon.com in the US for just over $100. So certainly not a cheap knife by any stretch of the imagination, but very reasonable when you compare it to some of the other custom blades out there, higher end knife brands. And Ka-Bar is still a really great brand, got a great history, and this knife is made right here in the United States in Olean, New York. So that's always nice to see. I'm a big fan of buying USA made products whenever I can, and Ka-Bar is definitely a good way to go. It's a reputable brand, been around forever. They make some really great stuff. Of course, if you're like me, you buy a knife like this that's a little bit more expensive, you're going to expect it to be able to take doing some work. So we're going to go ahead and test this thing out here in the woods. You can see it's very cold out, so that's going to be a good test in and of itself as far as the strength of the edge of this blade and all that good stuff to see if it's affected by the cold. And we're going to kind of beat on this thing and see if it's able to take it, see how the edge retention works out on it, and give it a trial run. Alright guys, so I'm definitely going to have to play around with this thing some more in warmer weather, but initial impressions. For its size, this knife is actually fairly lightweight in the hand. It feels like you're handling a much smaller knife. Even with that being said though, it is still very, very stout. It's very, very strong. I was not nervous beating on this thing at all throughout all the testing out here today. Now obviously there's a lot of factors contributing, but in this particular situation this handle is a little bit too slippery for my taste. Granted, it's really cold out here, so I already don't have as good a feel. I've also got gloves on, and these have sort of a fake leather palm to them, but not super grippy. And the fact that this does not have any kind of rubberized handle to it, so you've got a little bit of a spring to it when you're chopping, which contributes to that a little bit. So I did feel this thing kind of sliding around in my hand a little bit, but I think if I was wearing better gloves with a better rubberized grip, or no gloves at all, I'd be a lot better off. But probably what I'm gonna end up doing long term is just throwing a little bit of hockey grip tape on there, just a couple loops, and I'll be all set. But with it being a little bit slick, it's still very comfortable though. It's very nice in the hand. It's thin without being too thin. It's got some nice bulges there and everything, so comfortable, but again, just a little slick, especially if you're wearing gloves. By the way, it's also got a lanyard hole there, so I think if I put a wrist lanyard on there that I could wrap around, that would help as well when it comes to swinging this thing so that it doesn't slip. But I think this would definitely make a really capable survival knife. If I could only have one larger knife, I didn't have a smaller companion knife to go with it, this would work really well for that, because of the fact it's not too heavy, and having that nice big finger choil right there allows you to choke up on it, and you can make this knife do a lot of things that you would normally do with a smaller knife. And again, considering the weight isn't too excessive, it's not going to be really off balance or really heavy, making it difficult to do those kind of things, to manipulate it for those more delicate tasks. The sheath, nothing too exciting, nothing to really go wild about, but it's fairly sturdy, and overall it's pretty well designed. It's going to work well for MOLLE attachments, which will work good if you want to strap this to the outside of a tactical backpack. It's got good retention as long as you use this strap, but be mindful that this sleeve right here, it's not going to hold it in at all. If you turn it upside down, it's going to fall right out. It does allow you to put it in either left-handed or right-handed, which is nice. And if you wanted to tighten the sheath up, I'm sure you could heat up that plastic liner in there and form it a little tighter to that knife, and it would lock it in. But it's sturdy, it's functional, it's a little big, but most people, you're probably not going to be carrying this knife on your hip anyways. Especially if you're a smaller guy like me. I'm only 5'6", so if I hang this thing on my leg, it's almost like wearing a splint. It comes down almost past my knee, so definitely a lot bigger than what I would normally want hanging off my belt. So for me, I would probably either strap this to my pack or get some kind of a strap set up so that I could strap it at an angle across my back. So there's some more testing to be done, but initial impressions, I am very, very impressed with this knife. I think I'm going to be keeping this thing with me for a good long time. So thank you guys for watching. Again, this has been our first impressions on the Ka-Bar Knives Jarosz Choppa. Feel free to leave your comments and questions below, and while you're at it, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.